Hi everyone, welcome back again. So in this video I'm going to show you how to deploy your Django application on render.com. Understand? So without further ado, we are getting started right now. Understand? So I'm also going to show you how you can create a live Postgres database on render and how you can connect it to your Django application. It's super easy and fun to do. So we are going to get started right away. So right there we are going to deploy this simple voting system I built with Django some weeks back. So we are going to deploy this on render. You understand? So if you don't know about this application, if you've not seen the video on how I built a voting system in Django, I'm going to link the playlist of this tutorial series so you can go check it out and see how it was built. Understand? So in this video now I'm going to show you how to deploy the voting system on render. So without further ado, we are getting started right now. This is my code now. So currently I am in my settings.py file. You can see everything here is the default stuff we already know. So while trying to deploy your app to the cloud, we usually use white noise to configure our static files for production. We used to use white noise. So right now let's install white noise. So if you don't have white noise, so let's install white noise. White noise is used to configure your static files in production. You understand? So you're going to say pip install white noise. So make sure you install white noise. Pip install, make this a bit bigger so you can see clearly. So you need to install white noise. So we're going to call it white noise. So before you do this, make sure your virtual environment is activated. So we will check closely. My virtual env is activated. So make sure your own is activated. Understand? So don't worry, I'm going to share the source code of this application to you guys so you guys can follow along easily. Understand? So currently white noise is going to get installed right now. Said before, and make sure you have your virtual environment activated. Understand? So okay, as it's getting installed, let me show you some other stuff. So in your middlewares, where we have our middlewares, you need to add this white noise middleware. Just after the security middleware, you need to add your white noise middleware. It's important you do so. As I said before, it should be after your security middleware. Understand? So once you've done that again, you scroll down to our static files section. So I think here, remember in Django we already have our static URL by default. Understand? So this static root, so you need to add this static root. This static root is here. You need to add it. This folder. So this is a folder that's going to be created in production. So this folder is going to hold all our static files in production. Understand? So make sure you have your static root added, and we also have our static file storage. So you need to also add this line. So this line is responsible for compressing and caching of our static files. Understand? So make sure you add this is important. Understand? So I think we've installed white noise, so we need to also install gunicorn. I'm going to say pip install gunicorn. So yeah, we need to install gunicorn also. So let's wait for gunicorn to install. So currently we have gunicorn installed. So gunicorn is used to run our Django application in production. It is used to run the server in production. Understand? So already have gunicorn installed. So we need to also install psycho pg2. I'm going to say pip install. I'm going to say psycho pg and then 2. So this package helps to connect our Django application to Postgres database. Understand? So currently we are still on SQLite 3. But later in this tutorial we are going to switch over to Postgres. Understand? So I think okay, we've done 3 installations. We've done 3 installations, right? So one more thing again, you need to make sure you're using Django. You need to make sure your Django version is not more than 3.2.1. Understand? So currently render.com does not support any Django version. Does not support any Django version that is beyond 3.2.1. So if you're on Django 4.0 or 4.1, make sure you bring it down to 3.2.1. So it's like this now. Just come over here and say pip install Django equal to 3.2.1. It must not be more than 3.2.1. Understand? If it's more than that, it's going to throw an error. Understand? So I'm gonna say pip install Django. So maybe later in the future, Render will be able to support Django 4.0 and the rest instead. But for now, it cannot go beyond 3.2.1. You can try it and see. You can try and see for yourself if it's going to accept 4.0 and upwards. But for I tried it some days back. It rejected 4.0. It could only work with 3.2.1 and downwards instead. So that's it. So currently it's installing. Let's wait for it to install. Okay guys, so before I proceed, I'll also let you guys know that there is also the written version of this tutorial on Kowe.io. So I'm gonna link the tutorial for you guys so you can check it out, the written version. You understand? So here is it here. You're gonna find a link in this video's description. You understand? So and if you have any issue with deployment on any of the platforms, it could be Railway, it could be DigitalOcean, it could be Render, it could be Heroku. Any issue you're having, I'm going to also link a Discord channel in this video description so you can come on board there, and I'm going to help you out with any of your deployment issues. Not just me, I also have my friend there. Is going to also help you out with any of your deployment issues. So we can't wait for you to get on board. So thank you, and let's continue with the video. Okay, so currently we have Django 3.2.1 already installed, you understand? So we already have it installed. So after you've done this now, one thing is left now. So we have a file called build.sh, understand? So in your root directory, the same place you have your manage.py file, when you have your manage.py file, you need to create a file called build.sh, understand? So here's a file over here. So you can see the file here. This is the content of the file, understand? So it has three commands: the pip install requirement.txt, we have the collect static command, and we also have the migrate command, understand? So these three commands are necessary during deployment on any platform. Is it Heroku, is it DigitalOcean, Railway, or Render? These three commands are always going to be run by the platform, understand? So currently now we have the three commands in this file. So we are going to simply tell Render about this file. So whenever we are deploying, Render will always check this file to run this command. So make sure you have the file in your root directory, the same place you have your manage.py file, the same place you have your manage.py file, you understand? So that's it for that. So once you've done this already, you need to create our requirement.txt file. Let's create our requirement file, you understand? So this requirement file is going to hold all the necessary package that's going to make our Django application run, understand? So that's what the requirement.txt file does, understand? We're going to say pip freeze, and then we say requirement. So make sure you have your virtual environment activated.txt. So what's going to happen is we're going to list up all the dependencies in our virtual env in this file called requirement.txt. So enter. So we're going to list them out now. So let's wait for it to run. So I think it's done. So let's open the file. So open the file, and I can see all the files we have here. Okay, so currently we don't need cycle pg2 binary. I installed that before, but we don't need this instance. I already removed it. So once you've done this now, you have to push your code to GitHub, instance. So if you don't know how to push your Django code to GitHub, that's not a problem. So I already have a video linked in this video's description. I'm going to guide you on how you can push your code to GitHub, understand? So currently I already have my code on GitHub, so I'm going to simply just update what I have there. So I'm going to open the git bash now. So I'll simply update what I have on GitHub, understand? So okay, so let the git bash, once my git bash comes up, I'll simply update my remote repository. I'm going to say git add dot. So if you don't know how to push your code to GitHub, don't worry, there's a video in this video's description. They're going to guide you on how to do that. So I'm going to say git commit. I'm going to say pushing to render instance. So okay, so after I've done this now, I'm going to simply say git push origin main. Oh, okay, git and then push origin main. Okay, so I think that's it. Okay, so let's see, once it's done pushing, we kick off again. Okay, so we already have our Git repository updated. So I'm going to go down to GitHub now. So okay, please let's be fast. My network should be fast here. Ouch. Okay, so right now I've successfully updated my Git repository. You can see it says 2 minutes ago, pushing to render. So once we've done this already now, so let's go create an account on render.com. So just go down to render.com. So create an account on the platform. So once you've done that, simple. So I'm going to go down to my dashboard right away. So this is the dashboard. So it's coming up. Okay, so here's how my dashboard looks like. So for you, yours might look like this, might look like something like this. So you have to click on this button that says new web service. So for me, I already have some services running on my own dashboard, so yours might look different from my own. So for you, yours will be like this. So then click on new web. So you have to click on new web service to create a new web service instead. So okay, for me now, I'm going to simply click on this new button because I already click on web service. So I'm going to create a new web service right now. So we are going to we want to deploy from GitHub instead. So I'm going to leave this default setting. It says build and deploy from a Git repository. So click on next. So connect GitHub. So we are going to connect our GitHub account. So connect GitHub. So it's coming up. Okay, click on GitHub again over here. Click on GitHub. Okay, brought us back here. Click on new again, web service. Just follow me. Click on next. Okay, now so I try to connect now. Oh, for me it acted differently. So for you now, you might not be brought directly. You have to install GitHub. You have to install your GitHub on render. You have to install render on GitHub. Either of those ways. Understand? So for me, so let me show you something. Just click on this configure account. Click on configure account. I'm trying to show you something. We are meant to install render on GitHub, but for me it skipped the process because I've been working on render for some time. Understand? So it skipped the process. So now right now I'm going to choose my GitHub account now. So I just click on this one, which is Clinton Code 20. That's my GitHub handle. You can go follow me over there. Okay, I'm gonna put in my password. So confirm. So follow me on GitHub. You can follow me on Twitter. The links are in the video description. So now just scroll down now so I can choose the repository I want to deploy. Understand? So this is what I'm trying to show you guys. So you can choose the repository you want to deploy. So for me, it has already been picked already. Understand? I'm trying to deploy this repository. So that's what so this is what I was trying to show you. You can come over here and pick the repo you want to install. You want to deploy rather. So I already have it here already. So I'm going to go back to the page where I came from. Let's go back to where we came from. So that was what I was trying to show you. Okay, going back. Okay, we are back here now. So I'm trying to deploy this repository called evoting_app. My GitHub handle is Clinton Code 20. So I'm trying to deploy this exact repository you see here. So I'm going to click on connect. So for you guys, you might not just be. So for me, I was brought to this page directly. I didn't have to go add my repository. That's because I already have render installed on my GitHub already. I already have render installed on my GitHub. For you, it's going to be quite different. Choose your GitHub username and you have to pick the repository you want to install. And once you've done that, you'll be brought back to this page where you can then continue. So for me, I'm going to click on connect. So I only have these two repository attached to render. So I'm going to click on. So I want to deploy just this one. I'm going to click on this connect now. So I'm going to simply connect render to this repository instead. So I'm going to give my app a unique name. I'm going to say it is a voting system. I'm going to just say, okay, I'm going to say my voting app. Then so leave this as it is. So don't touch the root directory. Don't touch it. Runtime Python, that's fine. For the build command, remember we have this file called build.sh. So I'm going to use this file for the build command. So come over here. I'm going to simply just come here and say sh, and then we say build.sh instead. So that's for the build command. And for the start command, we're going to simply come over here. So we're going to check off. So this file called. So we're going to put the name of the folder that contains your settings.py file. The folder that contains your settings.py file. That's the folder you're going to use over here. So we're going to say gunicorn, and we're going to say my voting. So this is our Django project itself, my voting. So my voting.wsgi instead. So you can see this file called wsgi is inside of this folder called my voting. So this my voting is our Django project instead. It's our Django project. So I'm going to say my voting.wsgi. So that's it. Now I'm going to go with the free instance. So if you have some money to spend, you can go with the starter plan or the standard plan. So for now, I'm going to go with the free tier. So once you're done now, you can click on create web service to continue. So let's wait for our web. So our web service is getting created. Okay, once it gets created, it starts deploying instantly. So we're going to wait for it. Okay, currently these are our logs, so now it's deploying. So we're going to wait for it to deploy. So let's give it some time. Okay, I think we ran into some errors. It says, what is it again? It says failed to find attribute wsgi. I think I made a mistake now. So let's look for where. So we're going to go down to, I think it's in previews now. Let me look for where we have please load up. Oh, I don't think it's there. Let's look at our. It should be under, sorry, it should be, is in our settings rather. It's in settings. Click on settings. On this left navigation bar, click on settings, not previews. I said it's settings. So I think I made a mistake somewhere. So let's scroll down to our, I think is okay. Oh, because the mistake is, it should be my voting.wsgi, not the colon. For the start command is dots instead. So I have to go update it now. So you want to, in case you want to change anything, you can just come down to your settings, click on settings over here. You can change it. Says my voting dot. So click on save changes. That was my mistake. I'm so sorry for that. So if you're getting some value already, please subscribe to the channel, subscribe, like the video. So once we are done now, come back to event, click on event. So event, now you can see we have a new deployment starting. So click on deploy, this deploy link, click on it. So you can see currently it's building again. So you're going to wait for it. So once it's done building, you're going to see what it says. So let's wait for it. Currently it's still building. Currently it's done building and deploying. You can see now, let me scroll. It says, where is it again? It says build successful, and it says your service is live over here. But currently we need to add, so it's done building, everything is working. So this is our URL. Open this right now. So we need to add this to our allowed host, this URL. We need to add this URL. So if you open it now, it's going to throw an error of this allowed host, right? So we need to add this guy to our allowed host and push again. So come out to your settings.py file. So up here, there's the allowed host. Please show yourself. I don't want to waste my people's time. So okay, just here now, I'm going to add. So I'm going to say 127. This for development 0.0.1. I'm also going to add local hosts, and then the one I copied, local hosts, and then this. So it should be in a quotes. Okay, now these are allowed hosts. So once you've done this now, push your code to GitHub, and we are going to deploy again. Okay. So currently I'm done updating my GitHub repository, so make sure you update yours. Once you're done updating yours, come back again to the platform. Okay, so over here click on, let's use the manual button to deploy instead. So I'm going to say deploy latest commit. So this is going to deploy the latest commit I made to GitHub instead. So let's wait for it to deploy, and let's wait for it to build and deploy. Currently the deployment is still in progress instead, so it's still in progress. If you scroll up, you can see the, okay, I think it's live now. It says your service is live. we still complain about, say you may need to add my voting. What's happening to, I think I added it. So still complain about us not adding this URL. So let's copy and see, since I didn't make any mistake. So Ctrl C, it's copied now. So I think I added it, it's not the same thing. If you check closely, you can see we already have the URL here, but it's still not, it's still complaining about it not being there. So I don't know what, so let's see what the issue is. It's a minor issue. Let me remove one of it and let's push again. Okay, so I already pushed to GitHub, so come back up here, just come here, click on the button, deploy latest commit. So let's see, this time it should work. So it should start building again. What's wrong with my mouse? Okay, currently it's loading. Once it's done, to say it's building over here. So let's wait. Okay, I think it's building now. So let's wait for it to build again and let's see what the problem is. Okay, so right now it says your service is live and there is no error message this time. So let's be sure, scroll up, open this in a new tab. So let's be hopeful. I think, okay, that's 9. So right now we successfully deployed our app to the cloud. So right now our site is live on render, understand? So currently we are still on the Postgres database. Sorry, currently we are on the SQLite 3. We are on the SQLite 3 database. I'm going to show you how to configure Postgres on render. So now, still on render now, our app is currently live. So now I want to create a Postgres database for our app. So click up here. So you can see PostgreSQL. Click on it. Okay, let's wait for it. Let's give it some time to start to instantiate. So it's here. I'm going to create a new name. I'm going to say voting DB. So app is available. So for the optional stuff, leave them like that. Just leave. I'm going to use the free tier. I think all this is available. So let's just create Postgres, create database. Oh, so currently I have a database, so I need to go and delete that database before I can create this one, because currently I'm on the free tier. So let's go do that right away. Okay, so currently I already deleted my database, so now we only have 2 services running. So it should have been 3, because we added a new service here. So I already removed the database now. So let's create a new database now. Click on this PostgreSQL. Okay, I'm going to say voting DB, voting_DB. That should be the name. I hope it's available. So just scroll. Okay, the free tier, and then click on create database. So I'm going to give it quite some time to get created. So it's going to take quite some time. So let's just wait for it. Okay, so our database is done creating. You can see right here it says available. That's fine. So once we've done this now, okay, you can see, so right now these are our database credentials. This is it. So I'm going to show you how to configure it. So let's continue. So down to your app now. So I'm going to install a package. I'm going to say pip Ctrl+C. So let's just say I'm going to say pip install gj-database-url. So you need to install this and also import it. So I'm going to come over here and also import it. So currently it's installing. So I'm going to just come here. So now I'm going to say import. Yeah, import here, and then I'm going to simply use underscores here instead of hyphen. Yeah, and then I'm also going to import OS. So yeah, that's it. So currently we've installed it already. So we are making progress. So now I'm going to simply replace this guy. Now let's go do that now. So right now I'll do this now. So you know, in production debug is meant to be false. For example, this guy, you said debug is meant to be false in production. Well, well, in development it should be true, you understand, but in production it should be false. So I'll come over here now. I'll simply use I'll use an if condition. I'll say if not debug, this is trying to say if debug is false. That what this condition is saying. if not debug is the same thing as saying if debug is equal to false instead. So if not debug now, so currently saying if debug is false, right? So we are going to use this Postgres database. We are not done yet, we are still on it. So else, so I'm going to use the else now. Say else, so if debug is true, we are going to stick with our SQLite database. So up on render, we are going to set some environment variables. We are going to set some environment variables instead. So on render, we are going to have our debug as false, while on our development environment, we're going to have debug as true. So we are getting there right now. So right now, we can see now we have this database URL. This is an environment variable. This is an environment variable. So as I was saying before, this is an environment variable, you understand? So if debug is false, we are going to simply, so this package you see here, this DJ database URL, it simply helps like configure our database credentials automatically. We don't have to start setting the engine, the name, the password. With this package, everything has been done for us. We just simply need to pass the database URL. So we are going to pass that URL on render using an environment variable, you understand? So follow me now. So right now on render, so this is render now, remember? Okay, so you can see now these are database credentials. We have the password, we have the internal database URL, we have the external database URL. So you can use whichever one you want. So currently I'm going to go with the external because I think it's more accessible than the internal. It is more accessible than the internal database URL. So I'll go with the external database URL. Copy it now. Just copy. It's copied already now. So click on dashboard now. So we're going to go down to our web service, which is called My Voting App, right? Here's it. So now we're going to add some environment variables now. Okay, click on environment now. So now click on add environment variable. Remember the name is called what? This is the name, this is the key. It's called database URL. So come over here and we're going to add that here. It's called database underscore URL. And I'm going to paste it here. Paste it, understand? So I'm also going to add one more for our debug. Our debug is meant to be false in production. So now I'm going to save the changes. So once I've done this now, okay, for debug right now, come back here. So I already have this one configured, os.environ.get. It has been configured now. So come up for debug and do the same thing. Okay, I'll just remove the throw there. Now say os. Remember, we already imported OS and DJ database URL. We already imported these two. Remember, you have to import them. So for the debug now, say os.environ.get. Now let me just say debug. That's the name we called it there, debug. And then I'm going to give it a value of true. I want to explain what is happening here. Now say equal to true. So in capital letter, the thing should be in capital. Okay, so we have this now. So we have OS now. So what's happening now is this now. So by default, true is going to be the value by default, understand? So currently what's going to happen is this now. Django, so on render is going to check if this debug has a value. I will check closely. We already give debug a value of false, right? So now since debug has a value on render, that value will be used and it's going to be compared with this true. Once it's compared with this value, it's going to simply return false as the answer. It returns false, right? So while in development now, we don't have debug configured in development. It's only configured in production. So in development, since debug is not configured, true is going to be this value is going to serve as a default value. Since we did not configure this debug in development, this will serve as a default value. And once this is compared to this true, once these two are compared, it's going to return true because they are both the same thing. But in production, we have debug configured. We have debug configured in production, which is false. So once you compare false and true, our value, our answer remains false. You understand? So once you've done this now, what you have to do now, just simply push your code, push to GitHub, Understand? So push to GitHub now. Just simply, sorry for this activate window watermark. My window has been misbehaving. I've been trying to activate it, but it's not working. Okay, now so just simply let's push again. Push to GitHub, and let's see what happens now. So git add dots. So fast, and I'll say git commit. So I'm going to pause the video and push. Okay, so the same thing works for secret key also. For your secret key now, you can see now we're going to set this as the name. I'm going to set this highlighted secret key as the name in sorry. We're going to set it as the name now. Sorry, on render is going to serve secret key. I spoke it well. So secret key is going to serve as the name now, and we're going to create a new secret key. We are going to create a new secret key and place there as a value. So on render, we're going to have a different secret key. While in development, we're going to have another secret key. This for security purpose, understand? So this is how you do it, understand? Put in the secret key here. You get this as your key name. This is the name. You generate a new secret key. Put it on render, and why you use this one over here as a default. That's how it works. That's how we do it for security, understand? So once it's done now, just scroll up here, click here, deploy. You know, we just deploy to GitHub. We just push to GitHub now. So you want to deploy the latest commit. So now we're going to wait for it to build again, and right now we're going to be on a Postgres database, understand? So you can, if you check closely, currently you can see we are having some information. Obviously it's not going to show an error. Oh, currently it's deploying. Okay, sorry, this is it here. So that's the one. Sorry, this is it here. So currently we check closely. Oh, my network is up. Okay, we check close. Oh, you can see now it's done deploying. You can see now so you can see now our app is now empty. That's because we are on a new database. It's still let's just wait. It's still building, but currently the effect has taken place. But it's still building. Let's just wait for it to build finish. Okay, currently our deployment is still ongoing. I forgot to say something. Remember, we installed what was it called again? We installed this package called DJ database URL. Make sure you run pip freeze requirement.txt. Make sure you run this command. Where is it? This command called pip freeze, the angle sign, then requirement.txt to update your requirement.txt file. Make sure you do that. Once you do that, you then push to GitHub again. Make sure whenever you install any dependency, always run this command to update your requirement.txt file. And once you've done that, you have to push to GitHub again, understand? So let's see. Okay, currently it's live now. Currently our web service is live again, thank God. So scroll up. So you have the live page here. That's good. So now, okay, now open this on a new tab. So now currently now we are working on a Postgres database, and our database is empty. You can see now it's empty. There's nothing there now. That's because now we are on a Postgres database, and the database is still empty. If you check closely, if you notice something, whenever you are migrating to a new database, you are always required to run the migrate command. The command called Python manage.py migrate. You are always required to run that command. But because of our file called build.sh, we have a file called build.sh. That file already has a command inside, so we don't need to run Python manage.py migrate again, understand? Because the command is already here, and whenever we are deploying, this file is always being executed, understand? It's always been executed, you get? So because everything is working fine on a live Postgres database, if we check closely now, I'm going to run the server. I'm going to run the local server now. Okay, so now on the local server we have some data, but currently now on the live server there's no data there. That's because we're on a different database. So my local server is up, so it should be up now. So it's coming up with loading. So you can see my local server. You can see the local server. We have some voting items that you can vote for. You can vote for Django, submit. Understand? So let me just see. So for this voting app, I'm going to link down the tutorial for you guys to watch, the source code also for you guys in this video's description. So this is a voting app now. You can see currently this is on the local server. That's because on that local server our database has been populated already. but on the live server our database is still new. We've not put in any new content on the Postgres, on our Postgres database, you understand? So that's why it's like this. So I think we are done with the video. So if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, like the video. I'm going to link down some tutorials for you, how to push your code to GitHub, how to build this voting system, and also I'm going to link down the source code to this voting application in this video's description. So thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video. So stay blessed and bye bye.